Let me know if this has happened to you before. Maybe you're watching a workshop or a presentation or a webinar or challenge or something like that online, and the information is good. The content is a good, and the person that is putting it on is doing a really good job. But you think to yourself, I can do that. Like they've got information, I've got information. They're doing something, I can do that. So you have the bravery, the courage to create your own stage, and you say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my own webinar, right? I'm going to have my own coaching program. I'm going to put on a workshop. I'm going to submit a proposal to do this presentation at this conference. Like, I believe in myself. I'm going to do this. And you do it, and it doesn't go exactly how you thought it would. Maybe people show up and they tell you they did a really good job, but then they don't actually buy from you when you pitch your offer. Or maybe they show up and they don't stay. Or maybe they do take your offer, but not everybody does. Maybe like one or two people get it, right? And maybe they join it, then they don't stick around or they don't watch the course all the way to the end. Like, has anybody experienced any of these things, right? And it's funny because what happens a lot of times is then we'll start to think, the issue is probably with my marketing, right? Maybe I just need to get more eyes on what it is I'm doing. I need more people to see me. I need more people to know what's going on. I need to spend money in ads. I need to grow on social media. My marketing is the problem. But let me let you know that if you got people to show up, maybe marketing is not the biggest issue you have to feed to fill. So then maybe people say, It's my offer." Right? Yeah, I'm not providing enough value in the offer. I need to have more bonuses, scarcity. I need more products. I need to create more things so that I have more things to sell. But I'm being honest, if people have taken you up on the offer in the past, maybe the problem is not with the offer. Some people have taken it, just not everybody. So then you say, all right, you know what? I know what it is. It's my ability to sell. I suck at selling. If I could just and know what to say. Like I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to sound like a salesperson, but also I got to let them know this is how much it costs, and I just want to be paid what I'm worth. But look, again, if some people have purchased in the past, maybe it's not your ability to sell that is the biggest issue. Maybe it's deeper than all of those things. One thing I always like to say, you've heard me say it before, is that if what you sell is expert, how about I say it right? If what you sell is expertise, you can't scale if you can't teach. Marketing gets people on the call. Offer is how you put together the information in such a way that they can receive it. And selling is just articulating to them that you have the solution to their problem and positioning, like, here's how you get it. So, if all those things are in order, the big glaring item that's jumping out at me is the fact that once you get them on the call, once you get them in the presentation, once you get them in the community, once they start watching the course, they realize that you've got the information, but you're not articulating it in such a way that I can receive it, understand it, and retain it to be able to experience the transformation for myself. And because I'm not feeling transformed, I'm not trusting you that you can deliver on the promise that you made or that you have the solution to my problem. Is that making sense? Maybe the biggest skill that you need to focus on is your ability to teach. Now, those other things are super critical in business. It's important to make sure that the marketing it makes sense. It's important to make sure that your offer is valid. It's important to make sure that you know how to sell, right? But if you have all three of those things, and even if those three things are just done okay, but then you don't have the ability to teach well, then it doesn't matter how great your marketing is because you can have as many eyes as possible on the thing that you're doing. But because you're not actually providing transformation, people aren't going to stick around. You can have the most ironclad, tight offer. You could listen to all of Alex Hermosi's things, all of Russell Brunson's things, all of Myron Golden's things. Like you can go through all those things and say, have a irresistible offer. But if once people start working with you, they realize, listen, you are not teaching me. Like I'm not learning from you, then people aren't going to stick around. And again, it doesn't matter how great of a salesperson you are. If you're selling something, you can get people to buy, you can get people on the phone, you can get people to commit, but then they're not receiving value from working with you, then they won't renew or refer. That's why those other three skills matter and they are super important. And as entrepreneurs, it's important to make sure that you know those three skills. But as an expertpreneur, which is a special type of entrepreneur, it is most important that you know how to teach. Now, I know I said expertpreneur. What is an expertpreneur? Okay. An expertpreneur is somebody who sells information. What do you mean by selling information? I mean, there are four things that we can sell, just four. There's four things that you can sell if you are a small business owner, entrepreneur, or something of that nature. And of the four things that you can sell, here they are. You can sell products, you can sell services, you can sell SaaS, you can sell information. Products are those tangible things. It's like people can actually get, right. You're selling t-shirts, you're selling the phone, you're selling candle wax, right? Like you're selling a thing, a product, an item. You're selling products. You can sell services, which means you do something for somebody. Lawn renewal services, cabinet painting services. You're selling a service, right? You're doing something for somebody else. Or you're selling SaaS, which is software as a service, which is like a ChatGPT or Video Ask or something like that, where people are subscribing or they're joining online to access your software that's going to do something for them. That's selling software as a service. Or you can sell information. Those are for our coaches, our coaches, our course creators, workshop presenters, keynote speakers, authors, people who have information and mastered information in their head, and you're selling access to that information that's in your head to other people. But watch what sets expertpreneurs different from the other three types of business owners. An expertpreneur differs because of the first three types: products, services, and SaaS. The people that are buying that, what do you want to call it? The people that are buying from you don't need to necessarily understand the thing that you are selling. True or false? If if you are selling a t-shirt, do I need to understand how the t-shirt was made? I don't need to know the amount of thread and the cotton and that is printed on, or that it was shipped from, Ukraine down to, like, I don't need to know how the t-shirt was made. I just need to know that I like it enough to wear it. Okay? If you are selling a service, I don't need to know how you're going to do the service. I just need to know that it gets done and it meets my expectation. As a matter of fact, in most cases, the reason why I hire you is because I don't understand the service. I had somebody else come out to fix my AC a couple of weeks ago, and it's because I could not do it myself. So I don't need to understand the service that you sell. I just need you to be able to do it well. Ooh, that almost rhymed. That rhymed? Did it rhyme? Let me say it again. I don't need to understand your service well. I just need nope. There it goes. I don't need to understand the service that you sell. I just need to know that you'll do it well. Okay. I don't need to understand. And the same thing with SaaS. ChatGPT. Some of you don't even know what GPT stands for, right? But you'll pay the $20 a month because of what ChatGPT can do for you. You don't need to understand how it works. You just need to understand that it works. And with information, those who are selling information, who I love to call expertpreneurs, if people don't understand the information that you are teaching, they won't be able to apply it into their lives and experience that transformation. Which means the one thing that sets expertpreneurs apart from every other type of entrepreneur is that the thing that you sell needs to be understood by the person that's buying it in order for them to get the solution to their problem. So while the marketing makes sense, while the offer is important, while selling is a skill that you should have, if you are an expertpreneur, the skill that you need more than all the rest of those skills is the ability to teach. If what you sell is expertise, you can't scale if you can't teach. Because the people that are buying from you have to be able to understand the information that you are selling in order for them to achieve the solution to their problem. So there's good news and great news. I always like to say that. I don't like to go good news and bad news. I like to go good news, great news. Good news, great news. I'll go good news first. The good news is that you're strong enough, brave enough, smart enough, and confident enough to recognize that you've got information that other people want. And all you have to do is package it in such a way that people realize that you have it so they can come to you to get it. That's good. Okay. And the good news is you naturally have a way of teaching it. That teaching style has both positives and negatives, has both pros and cons. But the great news is that I know how to identify those teaching styles, see what your power moves are, see what your power moves are, and also I know how to show you how to close the gap for the things that you don't naturally do, but lead to learner retention. And I realized I've been speaking for the last 9 minutes and 37 seconds and haven't even introduced myself. Who is this guy that we're learning from? By the way, I'm Daryl Williams Jr., and for over a decade, I've been helping people win through teaching. Not only am I an award winning educator, an award winning speaker, but also I'm the founder of Monetize Your Expertise, where I help other business owners master the art and science of teaching so they can get better client results, which improves impact and income. That's what I do. And I can identify your teaching style and show you the moves that you are doing well, the reason why people want to continue listening to you and watching you, and the reason why some people are showing up on the calls, the reason why your content sometimes goes viral. You get a video that pops off every now and then. But I'll also show you why people don't stick around. I'll also show you why revenue sometimes feels like a roller coaster and is inconsistent with sometimes 4-figure months, sometimes 5-figure months, and kind of going back and forth. And I'll also show you the moves that you can make in order to close the gap so that you can see consistent 5-figure months, but most importantly, that you have a strong connection with your clients so that they see better results. And when they see better results, we can leverage those results for more referrals and um, um, all the great things that come along with results, right? So, what we're going to do today, when I go live, there are a couple of different things that I like to talk about. So one, I wanted to make sure that you understood what an expertpreneur was. I wanted to break that down, but I also wanted to make sure that you are self-identified. So if you're watching live, let me know what type of expertpreneur you are. All right. Yes, it's a word that I started using about 2 weeks ago, but it is the word that we're going to make it stick. The expertpreneur is somebody who sells information. What type of expertpreneur are you? Let me know. Are you a course creator, right? Are you an online coach? Are you a workshop presenter in person? Are you a keynote speaker? Are you a content creator? Like what type of expertpreneur are you? An expertpreneur, again, you sell information, right? You got information in your head. Other people want to use it to get the solution to their problem, and you sell the solution to their problem by giving the information that's in your head to them. Biggest thing you've got to be able to do is to teach. So obviously, I am an expertpreneur as well. That is something that I do. I help people learn how to teach, right? So I teach people how to teach so that you can teach it for transformation. And one of the things I'm going to do today is not only break down what those 4 different archetypes are, but I'm going to actually create a quiz using a software that I like a lot, which is called Video Ask. And I'm not sponsored or anything like that by Video Ask, but it's super cool. And what it does is allows you to kind of sit down and record some videos, and people can interact with the video that you make. They can click or tap on the screen, and it'll take them to the next step, the next phase. And it's kind of like a choose your own path or choose your own adventure that gets them to a desired outcome. It could link to a different website. As a matter of fact, if you go on my Instagram, I have a video ask instead of a link tree because it gets people to the exact desired results. So instead of going on a link tree and scrolling down and looking through names of things that you may or may not know, go to the video ask, and it you see my face just like this. And I think that it builds client trust. And then I just ask, what are you looking for? And I'll help guide you. And by answering just a couple of questions, they all direct you exactly to where you need, whether you want to work with me, see some free videos on YouTube, whether you want to come a free a webinar that's coming up, one of my books, something like that. It just kind of takes you directly where you want to go. So I love it. I think it's really cool. And I'm going to use it for this teaching archetype quiz because like you, a lot of expertpreneurs, they may not realize that there are teaching moves that help information stick. And again, we've got the information. I'm so proud of you for having the information and having the ability to say, listen, I know that this information can help somebody. Most of my clients are people who like they just want to do well, no, not most of, let me change that. All of my clients, because that's just who I work with. I only work with people who are super sold out and making sure that they're helping other people win. I've got information that's going to help you do better in life. It's going to help you learn how to grow on YouTube, right? It's going to help you learn how to deal with students that have autism. It's going to help you work with again the people that I'm working with. These are not the things that I myself do. These are the people who I work with. The people that I work with help you change the culture and climate in your school, right? Like they have a passion for something and they have the information on how to do that thing well. So they sell the information to people who are struggling with that thing. Those are who my clients are, right? So they realize that they want to do good in the world. They want people to be positively impacted based on the information that they have in their head, but sometimes they don't know how to teach it that well. And here's the craziest part. They think they know how to teach. Before meeting me, a lot of times they think they know how to teach. And the best way I could do it, oh man, I wonder if I can pull this up. We're live. I haven't tried this, but let me see. If I can find this, this is one of my favorite clips. Oh man, I'm gonna see if I can pull this up. As a matter of fact, let's come along with me and let's see if we can find it. But I don't want to give it away. Okay, I'm trying. I have not done this. But Kevin James and Will Smith are some of my favorite actors. True story. King of Queens, one of my favorite shows. I got it. King of Queens is one of my favorite shows in life. And as a matter of fact, I'm the type of person that likes to like watch and rewatch shows. So King of Queens, I watch all the time. And The Office, don't judge me, but I always like to go back and watch King of Queens of The Office. And Hitch was definitely one of my favorite movies, like top five. Will Smith, one of my favorite actors, even still after the slap. Anyway, I'm getting a little too deep into it. Let me know who your favorite actors and actresses are in the comment section. But this scene spoke to me, and I'm going to tell you why. Not only was it just hilarious from the time I first saw the movie, and if you haven't seen Hitch, like, what are you even doing? Right. But it completely embodies what I think about when I think about the clients that I serve. Because so often, expertpreneurs or people who sell information, they'll say, like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm good. I know how to teach. And then I see them do their thing. I see them on their webinar, or I see them on Zoom. I see them in a coaching session. I see them on stage presenting. And I'll notice the things that they're doing, and they honestly doing the best that they can. But I realize that's not effective teaching. That's not teaching that sticks. That's not increasing learner retention. And that's the reason why people are not lining up to take your offer, because they haven't been transformed. Right. One of the things I always teach, that effective teaching leads to transformation. Transformation leads to trust. Trust leads to traction, which means they want to stick with you longer and longer. And the longer they stick with you, that traction leads to treasure. And that's how we have both impact and income, right? Effective teaching leads to transformation. Transformation leads to trust. Trust leads to traction. Traction leads to treasure. And once we see that pathway, we realize that if you were teaching effectively, then your clients would be transformed, and they would trust you to stick around longer, 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 longer. So looking at this scene right here, imagine that I am Will Smith, and most of the people who I work with before working with me, they are here, Kevin James or Albert Brenneman. Let's see. Watch there be an ad. I don't have YouTube. Yes. Oh, I've watched this before. Interesting. All right, here we go.
I hate to be a stickler, but need to be thorough. Show me what you mean by you're not worried about it. Trust me.
Peace up, A-Town. Yeah.
That's what it's all about right there. I see how it gets bigger.
All right, I want to make sure that the stream doesn't get shut down. I can't play that too long, but you get the idea, right? You see that we've got Albert Brenneman, and this guy, he's thinking he's completely good when it comes to dancing. And Will Smith is watching him, and he's like, what are you even doing right now? Like, that's not even dancing. But in his brain, he's doing a really good job. In his brain, he's dancing, he's doing all the things, right? And Will Smith, you can see the way that he's looking at him, and he's just like, bro, that is not it at all. And that happens to me so many times with my clients, because they are in the space that I like to call unconscious incompetence. Unconscious incompetence is the first level of learning mastery. There's four different levels, and unconscious incompetence is the level that I don't know that I'm not doing this right, and I don't know how to do it the right way. Like unconscious, like I don't know. Incompetence, that I don't know what I'm doing. So unconscious incompetence is I don't know that I don't know what I'm doing, and it looks just like this, where it's just like, okay, I think I'm dancing. All right, think I'm teaching. I think I'm doing it, but you're upstate, you're on stage, and you're telling words, and you're talking, but you're not teaching. There are moves that you can make that will allow you to teach effectively. And that's what I help people understand. I help them move to unconscious incompetence to conscious competence. Um, to conscious incompetence, to then conscious competence, to unconscious competence. And I'll break all that down at one point in a little bit at some time. But right now, just understand that level one is unconscious incompetence. And that's where a lot of people come in. I don't realize that I'm not doing a good job. And I help people understand, no, there are moves that you can make that'll actually make learning stick. Okay. And that then moves you into conscious incompetence. And then I help you learn the skills that you need in order to be able to move to conscious competence. So with the quiz that I want to create today, it's called so these are the 4 different teaching archetypes of expertpreneurs. And the reason why I want to make the quiz is because there are people who are in that unconscious incompetence phase. You know what? Let me just show you. We're here. Who matters? We're here. Let me show you this. I'll pull it up. So here we go. It's called the 4 levels of competence. And I like a graphic. So let me see if I can pull up a graphic for you. This is actually my favorite one. The 4 stages of competence. And I don't think it'll get much bigger than this. I don't like how they grade it out like that. But here we go. We can look at this right here. So the 4 stages of competence. Actually, you know what? I don't like that one. And that's okay. It's my live. I can go back and show one that I like more. I actually just like this one. So we just have to figure out how to make that bigger. That's not going to do it. Zoom in. Did I know that's a possibility? Okay, check this out. What just happened? So of these, I'm just clicking stuff at this point. You can see it. Okay, cool. So here are the 4 levels of, here are the 4 stages of competence. It starts with unconscious incompetence, which means I am unaware that I have no idea what I'm doing, right? And when it comes to teaching, there are a lot of people who have the knowledge and have the information in their head, and they're saying to themselves, I got to get this information out because I want to help others. Like, I really want them to do well. But then they're on stage or they're presenting or they're on their workshops, their webinars, and they're just talking, but they're not teaching. But the worst part is they don't even realize that they're not doing a good job. They're down here in unconscious incompetence. They are not aware that they're not doing a good job of teaching. So then after I see this and I work with them and I say, listen, it might not be your marketing, it might not be your sales, it might not be your offer. Have you ever thought about the fact that it might be your ability to teach? And then once I start pointing things out to them, and I'm like, okay, cool. So do people come to your classes or your presentations, your workshops, your webinars, and they say that was really good, but then they don't buy your offer? Or after you do an in-person presentation, there's a long line of people that want to come up and they want to take pictures with you, but they don't want to sign contracts with you. And as I start to call out some of the pain points that they're noticing, they're like, yo, that's exactly what happens to me. And now they move to a stage of conscious incompetence because now they are aware that they don't know what they're doing. They're aware that, man, if I really get better with teaching, if I master the art and science of teaching, then I can teach with transformation and people will want to work with me. I'm like, boom, there you go. If what you sell is expertise, you can't scale if you can't teach. So now they're in a stage of conscious incompetence. They are aware that they don't know what they're doing. And as we begin working together, then I can give them power moves and strategies that they can apply to their teaching to help fortify it, make it stronger so that people can actually retain the information that they're teaching them. Right. So I teach them storytelling frameworks, or I teach them how to chunk information to be more palatable for the learners. I teach them how to create sticky statements that last even beyond the training session. Like, I teach them these things, and now they can actively apply it and put these frameworks into their teaching practices. And boom, now they're into the conscious competence stage, which means they are aware of the things that they're doing and they're doing it well. Now they still have to think about it. They still have to say, okay, I need the reason why I need to tell a story is because I need to make it relatable. I need to make it relevant. I need people to understand what I'm talking about. Like I need them to get it. So I'm going to tell this story. Like they still have to be consciously think about the fact that they've got to put this in there and they have to use the frameworks and all those things. Eventually you get to the place of unconscious competence, which means I don't even have to think about it anymore. I just do it so well. And the crazy thing is, as I'm looking at this chart and this graph on the screen, so many people are in the unconscious competence stage. And they don't even realize it. For that reason is why I like to say that I don't believe that all scammers are bad people. I don't. I don't believe that all scammers are bad people. I think that some scammers really mean well. They really want to help you and they put together programs and offers their online coach and they're charging 10, 15, $20,000 and they want you to work with them. And then you get in their programs. They're not teaching well. And then you leave saying they stole my money, they're a scammer. When in actuality, they might just be unconsciously competent, which means they are really good at the thing that they are trying to teach you. Right? They've really mastered the knowledge of how to grow on social media. They've really mastered, credit repair. They've really mastered this thing that they're trying to teach you, but they haven't mastered the art and science of teaching. They just do what they do so well. And because they do their things so well, here we go, messing stuff up. And because they do their things so well, they can't even explain to you what you need to do in order to see the same levels of success. So because they are unconsciously competent in their content area, they can't teach you how to do it because they don't know. They're just good at it, right? Or these would be like the people who give you tips, but they don't give you the strategies of how to do it. So they'll say things like, all you got to do is host a 90-minute webinar once a week. Have you ever heard this before? If you have a webinar once a week for a year, you'll never have to worry about money again. Have you ever heard that before? Okay. But then somebody can do a webinar once a week and you get 2 people on, 7 people on, 9 people on, 20 people on, 30 people on, 14 people on, 50 people on. And then after the end of 52 straight webinars, you're like, man, like they told me if I had a webinar for a year, I would never think about money again. And that person is not a scammer. That person is not a liar. That person is just unconsciously competent and they know how to teach. They may not know that they are making these moves, but they know how to teach well. So when they have a webinar every single week for a year, people come, people learn, people are transformed, people trust them, they gain traction, they see the treasure. And then you say, man, the reason why it didn't work is because they have a bigger following. No, they grew a following because they could teach. The reason why it didn't work is because they're spending more money in ads. Well, they have more money to spend in ads because they grew it by teaching information, right? Like their ability to teach is what put them in that position in a lot of the cases. But they can't teach you how to teach because they're unconsciously competent. So most effective teachers are actually in the conscious competence level when they're teaching you. Now, they may be unconsciously competent themselves, but they force themselves down into the conscious competence level so that they can teach you. Does that make sense? Right? Master teachers, again, like they know that they can pinpoint the things that they're doing intentionally in order to make learning stick. So they are thinking about the thing that they're doing well. That's conscious competence. What I'm saying is there are some people that are unconsciously competent, that are not liars or not scammers. They just don't know how to help you because either teaching comes naturally to them or they didn't realize that teaching was a skill that that's the same thing. Or they didn't realize that teaching was a skill that they have because it comes so naturally to them. So they don't know to tell you how to do it. Or the thing that they have done, they just do it so well that they can't tell you how to do it. So what I'm saying is, a lot of us, when it comes to teaching, are in the unconscious incompetence. I think I'm teaching, but I'm just talking. All right. But once we realize that the business skill that we need to master is selling expertise is what we do, then we come up to the conscious incompetence. And once we start working on those skills, we become consciously competent. And once we master those skills and just do it without even thinking about it, then we are unconsciously competent. All right. So that's my goal to help you get there. And I just wanted to break that down for you. So what I need to do is help people realize that teaching is the skill that they need. So I need to help people again that are down in the unconscious competence and help bring them up to the conscious incompetence. That being said, the way that I'll do that is through a quiz. I'm going to create a quiz. Well, I've already created the quiz, but create the quiz that asks 10 questions. And by the end of these 10 questions, you will be aware of what your teaching style is, and then I'll show you how to make the moves in order to move it. And this is a good play. This is a good play for anybody who's selling information, because watch what's going to happen here. I keep going back to this. Watch what's going to happen. Right now, let's say that the competent thing that we want people to understand, or the thing that we want people to understand, is their teaching style. Their teaching style and how to use their teaching style to teach in a way that sticks. Okay. Well, a lot of people don't know their teaching style. A lot of people are starting here in the unconscious incompetence. They don't know their teaching style. They're right here. Okay. After taking the quiz, they will then be consciously incompetent. So now they are aware of what the teaching style is, but they don't know how to fix the areas in which they have weaknesses. Then I'm going to give some strategies that they can use. Like, even with your natural teaching style, when you match it with these things, then you will be able to grow in mastery, and then you'll be able to really articulate that information in a way that people get it. Then they are in that conscious competence phase, and eventually, after time working on it, mastering it, they'll be in that unconscious competence phase. So for your business model, as I said, it makes sense to start with the quiz, because the quiz, what it's going to do is going to bring that awareness, and it helps people transition from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence. And then by working with you, then they go from the conscious incompetence to the conscious competence. And this is where you start seeing results. People start seeing results here. And by the time you get here, sky's the limit, right? So that's why a quiz matters. And again, for quizzes, I like to use Video Ask. So I'm actually going to bring that over in just a moment and go right over there to Video Ask. And here we go. Let's go. Okay. To videoask.com. This is how it looks. Again, they're not sponsoring this video in any way or anything like that. I just think it's a great platform to use. You can actually see the little demo right here. So what happens is you record the videos of yourselves. It's very simple to record the video. And then based on what people click or select or choose, it goes down a different path. So maybe they need to learn about, again, where I always like to think of an example that I can use for the whole entire time of going through this. So let's say that you are somebody who helps changes. No, I don't want to go with a school example. Let's say that you are somebody who teaches somebody the importance of a balanced diet, or you teach them dietary moves that they can make, or you teach them, how to focus on their health, prioritize their gut health, all those types of things. Let me plug in my computer. Yes, I did just pull the charger from underneath my shirt because it was charging my microphone that's underneath my shirt. All right. But I'm good. Computer's plugged in. Okay, so let's say that you are a dietitian, and the clients that work with you pay you because you're selling the information on how to meal plan, meal prep, create a balanced diet, focus on your gut health, get healthier, lose weight, all the things, right? So let's just go with that example for today. So let's say that you first start with a video and you say, hey, are you looking for meal plans, or are you looking for, a dietary, are you looking for meal plans, or are you looking for exercises or something of that nature? They can click on the button and it takes them down the path of whichever way you want them to go. All right. Or you can say, what are you struggling with? Are you trying to lose weight, or do you want to avoid diabetes and cholesterol? Like, what is your goal? And then from there, you can map a specific customized meal plan for them. All right. So you're seeing it again, we're taking them from the unconscious incompetence. By the end of the quiz, they should be in the conscious incompetence. Let's log in and let's go. I should already be logged in here. And you might see, let's just start new. There are definitely some ways that you can use templates and things like that, but I'm just going to start from scratch. And we will go with the 4 teaching archetypes of expertpreneurs. And if you are wondering, I am definitely doing this right now in real time because it's something that I have to do. So I'm going to create this video, expertpreneurs. Yeah. All right, so here we go. It's going to ask you how do you want to create these steps. How would you like to create this first step? I'm going to go with a video upload, but I don't need that right now, so I'm going to do that later. I'm going to add a video later. There's a video on every single slide, essentially, right? Because it's a video ask. Let me pull it out and show you the workspace. So this is where everybody begins, and this is the very first thing that they will see, and it's going to automatically map you to the last screen. So here's the first thing that they'll see, and we start asking ourselves, all right, what do we want them to be able to do? Some of the options are, do I want them to respond with an open-ended question? Do I want them to speak to an AI chatbot, multiple choice question, a single button, a calendar invite, a live call? You see, there's so many different things that you can do. I do pay for this. So there are, some of these are, what I want to say, not on the free plan. There's a lot that are on the free plan, but this is not on the free plan. Sorry, that's not clear. All of these are on the free plan. The one that is not, no, I think all these are on the free plan. I think where it stops becoming free is when we get into logic. Yeah, like if you want to redirect to a URL, which means I'm going to take them to a different website, that is not on the free plan. That's the reason why I paid, because I wanted people to be able to go to my website or go to my register for the webinar or register for the masterclass and things like that. So those are not, that is not on the free plan in order to redirect to a URL, just putting that out there to get started. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is the way that you would make this yourself. This is going to be my intro slide. And as a matter of fact, I haven't recorded this yet. The way that people are going to respond. So first I'll upload the video and then you choose their answer, meaning what are they going to do next? For me, I'm just going to put a single button because the button is going to say something like get started. Like, here we go. I'm just going to get started with the quiz. Or actually, you know me, I like to be a little bit more fun. So I might say something like find my teaching style or something like that. Or take the quiz. No, find my teaching style. And as I'm doing this, I want you to start thinking about like how you can see yourself using this in your business. I'm not going to skip data collection. What that means is it's not going to give me a analytics on how many people clicked on this slide, and I definitely need that. Delay the interaction is how long will it be before they can click that button. And for this opening slide, honestly, I need them to wait at least 5 seconds. I'm going to like listen to me for at least 5 seconds. Collect the information on the slide. No, I'm actually going to say that till the end. I want them to go through the whole entire quiz, and then at the end, before I give them the results, I want them to give their information. Why? It's pretty clear, right? One, a couple of reasons. Speed to value. Like, I want them to be able to get in and just start learning, like automatically just start answering questions. I don't want the fact that they have to put in their name and phone number and email be something that hinders them from trying, right? But then also, lastly, it's more of a hook. If I let you go through all 10 questions and then ask for your name, phone number, and email, it's more likely that you're going to give me your name, phone number, email so that you can see the results. If you've already taken the full 2-minute quiz, you're probably going to want to see now what your results are. So I'll ask you for your name, phone number, and email there. Obviously, what I'll be using that for later on will be to continue to follow up with them, continue to nurture them, let them know about webinars I have coming up, masterclasses, sprints, accelerators, all those great things, masterminds, right? So that's what it's there for. Obviously, somebody who's gone through the full entire quiz is somebody who I would consider as a qualified lead, because now at this point, they are invested in the fact that they're an expertpreneur and they want to know how to better teach in a way that stakes for transformation. So it is a great idea to get their information at that point so I can continue working with them or continue put myself in a position to continue providing value for them ongoing, right? So that's why I would put it at the end of the quiz there. And yeah, let's see if you guys can. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong screen. Let's see if you can move here. So that's the intro slide. Cool thing is, or funny thing is, I actually don't have the intro slide created yet. And let's do that now in real time. Why not? I've got my DJI right here, which is my DJI camera. And let's see how many takes it takes me. Normally, it doesn't take me too many. Let me see if I can get this. You get to watch shit live and in person. So let me walk you through how I like to record intros and things like that. Come on. All right. I just get the SD card in there. Okay. So I have my microphone on underneath my shirt. Let me make sure it's on. And well, this 2 camera setup is crazy. Which one do I look at? All right, cool. So you're gonna see me record the intro slide right now. My goal here is I want to keep it quick and I want it not to take too long, but also be super engaging right from the beginning. Meaning, like I want people to look at it and want to watch until the end. I mean, I guess that's really the goal. One of my favorite phrases is I like to make things as short as possible, but as long as it needs to be. Right? As long as it needs to be to get all the information out, but as short as possible so that we're not, using unnecessary words, fillers, and things like that. So here I'm estimating in my head, this should be about a 20-second intro. And I should hook them enough to be able to want to take the quiz. So what do I need to say to people who are expertpreneurs, to people who sell information that would entice them to want to take this quiz? I think I want to let them know. I'll probably start with, if what you sell is expertise, you can't scale if you can't teach. I think that's one of my go-tos, my slogans, my phrases. It's catchy enough for people to be like, what are you talking about? And then I'll let them know that they already have a natural teaching style. That's good for people to know because it kind of gives them that vote of confidence. Like, oh, I kind of already know what I'm doing. But also point out that there's a gap, right? And once you close that gap, then what is on the other side of the gap is the benefits that they're looking for, which are going to be client retention, client results, and then obviously increased revenue. Then choose the click on the clicker, tap the screen to get started. So I'm gonna say something like that. It has to be in one take because I don't feel like editing. So hopefully it takes me. I'm gonna go 2 tries on this. Hopefully it takes me 2 tries. And let me work through the framework one more time in my head. That first hook, if what you sell is expertise, you can't scale if you can't teach. And then I'm going to go with a common belief, something like, so you sell, you're an entrepreneur that sells information, right? I'm going to call that person out really quickly. So the most important thing that you do is teach, right? And the good thing is, so now I'm sticking with them in following that path of goodness, right? Or do I want to lead off with that? Or maybe I want to lead off with, if you're an entrepreneur that sells information. Give me a second, y'all. Let me think through this. Because one option is I can just go straight. Yeah, one option is I can go, if what you sell is expertise, you can scale if you can't teach. Those are pretty redundant, so I don't know if I'll do both of them. So I'll start with that. If what you sell is expertise, you can't scale if you can't teach. So now I'll just go right into, and the good thing is you already have a natural teaching style. Yeah, and I'll go with that because I get them on my side. Then I'll do what's called a contrarian snapback, which means I'm going to snap back the other direction and make them hit him with a like a whoa, I didn't see that coming. All right. The good thing is you already have a natural teaching style, snap back in the other direction. However, that natural teaching style has drawbacks that are forcing you to leave money on the table. What do you mean? Then I'll come and provide the solution with this quiz. I'll help reveal to you not only your power moves, but also I'll reveal the gaps and tell you what you need to do to fix it so that you can get boom and then lead into the benefits. Got it. So that's my process, y'all. That's how I talked it all out. It was weird to talk it out because I'm looking at the wrong camera. I don't really talk it out normally like that, but that's my process. So hopefully I can do this in 2 moves or less. Okay, here we go. If what you sell is expertise, you can't scale if you can't teach. But the good news is you already have a natural teaching style. However, that teaching style has some gaps that are causing you to leave money on the table. But with this quiz, you'll be able to identify your teaching archetype, your natural teaching archetype, and what your power moves are, as well as what moves you can make to close the gap so that you can see better client results, which leads to massive impact and income. Click or tap the screen to find your teacher archetype in less than 2 minutes. All right, so something like that, but I got to go right through it because I'm not going to edit it. So that was my first time running through it. I think it was okay. There was a couple of pauses, obviously, so I'm going to definitely do it one more time. I wanted 20 seconds. That was 34. So I'm thinking it's going to be probably 29, 30 seconds. Goodness gracious. When it's all said and done, I'll probably be 29, 30 seconds. But that's going to be my opening hook. I think the camera looks good. I'll move this down. I told you I'm gonna try to do it in 2 tries. All right, here we go. I'm trying to do it in 2 tries, which means I don't want to have to do it a 3rd time. All right. If what you sell is expertise, you can't scale if you can't teach. But the good news is you already have a natural teaching style. But that teaching style has some pitfalls that are actually causing you to leave money on the table. But with this quiz, you'll be able to identify your natural teaching style. And I'm going to show you what your power moves are, as well as what things you can do to close the gap so that you can actually teach in a way that sticks, which leads to better client results and ultimately more impact and income. Click or tap the screen to get started. 29 seconds. Oh, I need to start. I need 29. All right, so that was 29 seconds. And I think that was good. I'm actually gonna upload it right now and show you how it goes. Now, with that being said, I don't want to waste too much time. I've already pre-recorded the questions. I just haven't uploaded them just yet. So I'll bring this over here now and just save it to my computer. You got to see behind the scenes of me recording a video. How's that feel? Right? Somebody doesn't care, but somebody does. And that's pretty cool. All right. So let me move that into this folder over here. Get that done. I have a whole video ask folder of all of my things. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen again in just a minute, and then I will show you everything that is going to take to build this video ask out. Okay. So we have that over here now. Now I'm going to wait on that intro slide. What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to put slide for the question number 1. So I'll add a new step right there. And it's going to give us, how do I want to do it? I want to upload a file. And like I said, I have a whole video ask folder in my videos. Where we at? Y'all seeing all my stuff. Okay. So let's see. I think this is the one. I think they're in order. So when you upload it, it's going to be right there. What I always like to do, yes, choose file. Yes, continue. Well, actually, I can just see which one it is. Okay. So that looks pretty good. Obviously, I want to change the beginning and the end, and I changed it to fit video. So it goes right there in the middle. This is really great for when you are looking at it on the phone. On the computer, you can see it has those black boxes side to side, but most people are going to be looking at it on the phone based on my analytics anyway. Most people are looking at it on the phone. So I've optimized it for the phone, and yeah, let's go. We don't need to overlay text or anything like that. Actually, it might not be bad idea to overlay some text. Let me go back. Let me go back and see what that question was. So you can see the black boxes aren't that bad. All right, so let me just add that right there. Number one, question one. When you are explaining something new, what is your natural go-to? Okay, but that was so big. Oh, I can adjust. Okay. So the text size, can we make it smaller than that? Okay, there we go. When you're explaining something new, what is your natural go-to? Reveal and fade. So let me see. I wish we could change the position, but I don't see a way to do that. I wish I could move the uh the text down to the bottom. Maybe a little smaller. Let me try it now. Okay, let me do it like that. Oh, I wonder if you can. Oh, you can't even hear my screen. I think now you can hear my screen. So here's what it sounds like. Let's go. Number one, when you're explaining something new, what's your natural go-to? Okay. So I really wish I could move that around on the screen, but I would definitely put it down in the lower third, but it's okay. We can leave it there. All right. So now I want to darken the video. Okay. Not too bad. I don't mind that. Darken it for um so we can make the text easier to read. What I do want to do though, see if I can trim that start and end off the video. I haven't used this video editor before, so I don't know if it's good at trimming videos, but I just need to trim off that first breath in the beginning. Let me try that. Let's go. Number one, when you're explaining something a little too short. Let me 0.4. Let's go. Number one, when you're explaining something. And then here at the end, I don't want to see me touch the screen. Let's go. Number one, when you're explaining something new, what's your natural go-to? Hey. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna trim it and see if that does well. And then if so, I need to trim it again because you can still see me touching the thing. What I've done in the past is I've used CapCut and I just take it from my computer, put it into CapCut, and one I would embed the text in CapCut, but this actually looked faster to put that text right at the top of the screen. I just prefer it in the lower third. Um, and then I've used CapCut to trim that video. So let's see how this goes. Said the video is finished. Let's go. Number one, when you're explaining something new, what's your natural go-to? All right. Can I trim it some more? Can I? Because I would love to take off. I wonder why I only let you trim a little bit at a time. Let's go. Number one, when you're explaining something new, what's your natural go-to? I don't understand what is trimming because that's exactly. I don't know what that's about. All right, so if this doesn't work too well, then I'll just use my normal video editor that I normally use, and I'll just trim them all before uploading them. That's normally my go-to, so keep that in mind. Let's see, trimming complete. Let's go. Number one, when you're explaining something new, what's your natural go-to? That is the same, like. Okay, so it won't let me trim it anymore. So I'm actually not going to leave this here, but I'll leave it here for the point of the video. But so you can see how it goes. So the intro slide is going to lead there to number two. Number two, we're just going to write that as question one. Okay, but I'm going to try something really cool in just a second. So question one is going to go multiple choice, and here are actually the questions. Got them all written out. You know me and my boy My boy ChatGPT been working on this thing. All right, so when you explain something new, what's your natural go-to? Now, obviously, I'm not going to reveal which ones are which because I don't want it to the end. I don't want them to know until the end. I don't know why I always click on all the tabs. Does that trigger anybody? All right, so is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Is it D? Just like going back to school. Control copy, Control V. Now, let's see. Now, I find it interesting. I keep looking over to the other side. Let me see. No. I wonder if it looks better if I switch it. If I switch it around. I just did that. I think there's a way. Oh, here we go. Let's see if that looks better. Because I keep looking. Let's see. I like looking at this screen. So let me see if that makes it look better. All right, cool. So that being said, enable multiple selections, no, but randomize, yes, because I don't want them to always be, number one is for producer, number two is for performer, and you don't even know the archetypes yet. Now that I think about it, it's not something that I shared with you yet. Not gonna skip data collection. Show option count. That means you're gonna disable help text to. I don't know what that means. Delay interaction. No, go ahead right away. Collect details. Contact details. Not yet. So I'm going to hit done. All right. So notice that's question one. So let me show you the preview real quick of what this would look like. Okay. Question one. Obviously, there's no question there. I just recorded it, but we didn't upload it yet. Now it's going to wait about 5 seconds. It's supposed to wait 5 seconds, but looks like it's taking forever. So what's going on here? Maybe because there's no. Oh, it's probably because there's no video there. Anywho, let me upload a random video then, because I just want you to see how it works. Actually, I don't have to upload a random video. My video is there. It's not completely edited, so I'm going to change it at some point. But here we go. Upload a video. Go back to my video. Ask. It should be there now. Yep. That's the one. That's the one. Let's see. This video is brought to you by. Okay, good, because it's not. All right, let's get it. The video, no text overlay. The video won't play, but let's refresh it and see what happens.
If what you sell is expertise, you can't scale if you can't teach. But the good news is you already have a natural teaching style. But that teaching style has some pitfalls that are actually causing you to leave money on the table. But with this quiz, you'll be able to identify your natural teaching style, and I'm going to show you what your power moves are, as well as what things you can do to close the gap so that you can actually teach in a way that sticks, which leads to better client results and ultimately more impact and income. Click and tap the screen to get started. 29 seconds. Oh, I need to start.
See, all right. So I have to edit that video, obviously, but here we go. I'm gonna fit it to the screen, and I don't need a text overlay, but we'll be good. So now let's preview it. So again, you'll see those black boxes on either side when you're on the computer, but it does not look like that on the phone, and most people use it on the phone.
Expertise, you can't scale if you can't teach. But the good news is you already have a natural.
All right, so I'm gonna hit find my teaching style.
Explaining something new. What's your natural go-to?
Okay, and now the first question comes up. I still think, y'all, I'm gonna edit this video in CapCut because I don't like how that's over my face. Like that should be able to be down here. Okay, but either way, once you get here, you click or tap the screen to the side. All right, I go to reassure and support so people feel safe. Click on that, and then it's going to take me to the next screen, which would be the next question once I finish that out. And if you're wondering, yeah, you can change all of those graphics and things like that are purple right now. You can change that all to your theme. and your colors and things like that. We can switch all of that. So just keep that in mind. But here's something that I want to try that I've never done. And it's going to be to incorporate ChatGPT agent mode into Video Ask. So here are the questions. And I wanted to do the first one so I can kind of give it somewhere to go. But I already did the first one. I already have all the videos recorded. I wonder if ChatGPT agent mode can go ahead and create like the actual questions. But notice how it said, okay, so here's what I'll do. It needs to know where to map it to. And first, let's do this. Can you remove the archetype that comes after the arrow? Because the arrow tells them what it is, like producer, performer. I don't want them to just copy and paste. So I can copy and paste the questions and answers. I spelled answers wrong. Let's see. Question 2. Boom. All right. So it took off because before it said you give me a structure that I can follow, and that led you to producer. And so now those are gone. So boom, we got all 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thing and put it into agent mode. And now with agent mode, I'm going to see if it can open up a Video Ask browser. I will log in, obviously, and then create the rest of that Video Ask and map it to the correct outcome. So how do I set this up? First, I'll put it in agent mode. And let's see. Can you open up a Video Ask browser and log into my Video Ask account where we're creating a quiz that's called the 4 Teaching Archetypes of Entrepreneurs, and finish it for me? I already started it. So there's already a Video Ask that has that title. And once you open it, you'll see that there is an intro slide and a question 2 slide already. I'd like for you to pick up by adding on the next slide and starting with question 2. Now, what you're going to have to do is make sure that no video is uploaded yet, but you can go to the answer section and select multiple choice as the answer and put all 4 of the answer choices for that particular question. Once you finish that, you can move on and create a new card for the next question. When that's all done, we're going to have to map the answers that they chose to the archetype that it best fits based on their results. So the result that they got most often is going to match or link to their archetype. So let me know what you need. I can definitely get you all of the archetypes, the questions and answers, as well as the mappings from each answer to the archetype that it maps to. But let me know the way that you need the information so that you can work through this systematically and not make any errors. Once you give me that information, I'll give you what you need, and then you can go for it. Okay, so I'm not going to give it all of the information just yet because I want to make sure that it can do it and I don't want it to be confusing. All right, so here we go. It's already in agent mode, so it's opening up the agent, and what it's going to go do now is it's going to set up the desktop. If you've never seen agent mode, I'll let it run for a second, and then you can see what it is. If this works, y'all, do you know how much headache and how much time it would save? You know what I mean? Because this literally takes me hours, for real. You can see how much time it took me already. And I already pre-recorded those videos. So I'd have to go to the videos. I would have to upload and edit the videos and upload them, which I still have to do. But then I've got to put each answer choice into Video Ask. But then the hardest part is the mapping, because now I have to go through each answer choice and say, okay, if they chose this for 10 questions, if they chose this, then 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 that means that they're a producer. If they chose this and chose this and chose this and chose this and chose this, that means they're, like that. Last time I did it, I mean, like, worth it, but it probably took me 2 hours just on that part. I mean, I had a movie on and I was just mapping, but yeah, Video Ask is not really created for this. There are definitely some other platforms like Quiz Interact. Quiz Interact will do that for you automatically, and it's actually super simple. It doesn't take 2 hours. The only thing is, it's not video. I like the personal feel of video. I want people to kind of get to know my personality going through it. So that's why I prefer to use Video Ask. But Quiz Interact will do it without having to do this whole thing. So I can certainly help you finish the Video Ask. I'll need to know the exact wording for each question and the answer choices, along with which archetype each answer corresponds to. A simple format will look like this. Okay, so I actually didn't need to remove the archetype. I'll just give them the question and answers that I copied the first time. So please provide this for each remaining question, 3 through 10. Also, let me know if you're already logged into Video Ask. If not, I'll take over. So I'll get those questions. I'll do it all the time. So these are the questions. It's already mapped in the way that I wanted to, right? Question 2 is the answer, and it's mapped, and it's mapping. Let me make sure I highlighted to 10. I sure did. And here we go. So here are the questions and mappings. And then I'll just say, I am into Video Ask, but I am here if you need me to log in. One thing that I will say is that I've done something like this before where it had to take over my desktop. And whenever you have to log in with Google, or, well, for me, it was with Google. I'm not sure if it's like if you log in with Apple or Microsoft or anything, if it's the same thing. But whenever you have to log in like with Google, it doesn't allow you to do it because it doesn't allow you to log into Google in their on their desktop. You know what I'm saying? So with all that being said, let's see if this one is going to work. Page is loading. Okay, it needs me to log in. So what it's going to do is going to ask me to take over in a second. And that's okay. Like, I'm not going to log in with Google. So I'll click take over right here. You don't need to see my login information. But just know I'm just typing in my email address and password. I was about to say it out loud. Might as well just let you see it, right? All right. But yes, if you have to like log in with Apple or log in with Facebook or log in with Google or something like that, it doesn't work for me in agent mode. I also don't remember my password. Any, mini, money, mo? Nope, password incorrect. Any, mini, money, mo? Catch a talk about it, got it on the second try. All right. So now I'm back, and there it is. It's back there in the pursuit of excellence. I click finish controlling, and let's see if it can navigate back to where it's supposed to be. If not, I'll take control again, I'm assuming. So my thought process here is that while it's working, I will actually walk you through those different archetypes, because that's something that I haven't spoken to you yet. But I'm actually super engaged and super interested in how it's going to work with this Video Ask. So I've done this a few times. I can still give you the archetypes while you watch, or we can watch this together, because again, it's kind of interesting. So notice it went over to my folder, and I remember I gave it the name of what the Video Asks are. I've been using Video Ask for a while. It knows to click on the archetype one because I told it that that's what it's named. And it should go into the one, not should, it will. That's the only thing that's going to happen. It's going to go into the one that we've just been working on. It's going to go to build. And now it should go and finish entering those answer choices. And y'all, this is, I'm telling you, like, the way that this is working is so powerful. Like, I don't want to sound like everybody else on, online who talks about just how powerful ChatGPT is and all these things, but I also want you to see the way that I'm using agent mode, and I just wanted to spark an idea in you. Even if you don't use it to create a video ask, I want you to think about what is something that you can use it for. Like, what is something that you can use it to help you do more efficiently? And let me see. I might make this a little bit bigger because they're the star of the show right now. All right. So as I'm looking at this, you can see that it is entering information. Sorry, I'm reading through it. It says choice 5 has been removed. I need to update the second row. It looks like they clicked on question 1 and it's trying to update question 1. I wonder if I need to take over now. Let me make sure that I got the right questions. Yeah. So I think it just clicked on the wrong one. Did it update question 2? If so, that's okay. Then I'll just have to do question 2 by myself. I don't want to mess it up. But let me see what it's doing now. It's going to add a new step after question number 2. Let's see if it adds the step all by itself. It says that it is. It said it doesn't know how to add a new step. All right, so I'm not gonna watch it this whole time because it looks like it's trying to learn. It said it doesn't know how to add a new step. I wonder if I take over if I can teach it how to add a new step. Or if I just let it sit there. I'm just gonna let it sit there because the whole goal is I want eventually the agent mode to be able to do this thing on its own, right? So I'm just gonna sit there and watch it. And while that's working, I'll keep my eye on it. But let me break down the 4 different archetypes for you, right? Archetype number 1. You've heard me say it a couple times, and maybe you've seen the screen already, but archetype number 1 is actually going to be the producer. What does the producer mean? The producer is somebody who you are really, really clear with like frameworks and structure. I like to think of the producer as the GPS. So you want to give people clear steps, right? And you want to make sure that they have exactly what they need to get from where they are to where they want to be. And you produce, like it's all about the product. It's all about the end goal. It's all about here's where we are, here's where you can go. So I teach you step by step where you can go. And you hear people say things like, that was so clear. I get it. That framework made so much sense. Thank you for, structuring it that way. Thank you for being so organized, which is great. But the downfall of the producer is that sometimes you tend to naturally like over teach, get too granular, give me too many frameworks, too much structure. And just like a GPS, if you're not there, I don't know how to get to my desired outcome. I mean, I like to think about it like the fact that I live here in Charlotte and I've been here since 2017. And sometimes I'll put on a GPS to places that I've been to like 12, 13, 15 times, right? And my daughter is 6. She's so smart in the natural sense and also she's so smart sense. But she's like, Dad, why I had to put on a GPS to go to church? You already know how to get there. I'm like, all right, first of all, relax. Like sometimes I put it on because I want to see what the traffic is like. And 2, like, mind your business. All right. Sometimes I forget some things. But what I'm saying is the producer naturally get them step by step to where they are. But sometimes what happens is after you leave the room, after you leave the stage, after they log off of the workshop, the webinar, then they're like, all right, how do I do this? And they look through the frameworks. And if they took notes or had the frameworks, they're good to go. But if they didn't take notes or it's been a couple of weeks or something like that, and they want to apply that, like, man, I was on that call a couple of weeks ago. What did she say? Because the frameworks don't have a place to attach in our mind. So a good power move for natural producers is to associate a framework with storytelling, with chunking, with sticky statements. And what I mean by that is that storytelling is going to obviously associate with a story that's going to make it more relevant to their lives, something that they can hold on to. Like when you associate a story with a framework, that super increases information retention, because now people are saying, man, like that's so cool. I get it. I get this information. And with the remember the story, stories are really great again for long-term retention. So they're remembering the story and it associates it with the framework. So now they know how to take the next step. Same thing with what I like to call a sticky statement. Sticky statements are mnemonic devices that allow the brain to have a place to process and to place that information so that they can easily store and recall it. Things like Roy G. Biv, like the colors of the rainbow, PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Those are mnemonic devices. Stories, not stories, like rhymes, um, songs, things like that is going to help you keep that information in your mind. All right, so let's check on chat. Chat, where you at? Chat, where you at? Looks like, okay, so work for 7 minutes. It got stuck. Delete for all eternity. What? There's an are you sure you want to permanently delete the step prompt on the screen and for the stray untitled step. Would you like me to click yes, delete it? I don't know what it's deleting, but let's just see what it does because I just started. It's not that big a deal. Maybe what I'm thinking happened is I think that it created like the wrong step and now it needs to delete it. So let me see. Yeah, it looks like it created a step that it didn't like. Okay, so now it's creating a new step. It's putting question 3 after question 2. It's clicking. Okay, it's trying to click on what happens after they select the first question. Boom. So basically what happened just there is it started the next step and it told it no matter what they click on this step is going to take them to question number 3 because we're walking down the quiz. What I love about this machine learning is that it is machine learning. Like it is learning how to do this thing in real time. It's doing the same thing that we do, y'all. Like it's just clicking different things and just trying things out. Like I think it's important to note Chat GPT doesn't know everything. And I don't think that anybody thinks it does, but it doesn't learn anything. It is literally machine learning. And it's just so surreal to see it happening in real time, how experimental it is in the sense that it'll just try different things. And if it works, cool, I'll keep going down that path. If it doesn't work, I'll reverse course. That's how we learn things. But I want you to understand what's happening here. I didn't even plan to go here, but watch this. Come on, God is good. This makes sense. Watch this. Although I gave it information, it still needed to go explore, to play with it, to try it out in order for it to accurately do the thing that it had to do. How many times, as expertpreneurs or those who sell information, do we give information and expect people to just know it, to just remember it, to just get it? No, they still got to play with it. They still got to work with it, understand it. That's why assignments matter so much. That's why challenges are so important. That's why action steps matter. That's why accountability groups matter because it's not just about receiving the input of the information. In order to actually retain it, you've got to apply it. You've got to try some things. You got to make some mistakes. You got to make some errors. That's how you learn and grow. So if we're not creating environments for our clients to actually practice to make some mistakes, they're not going to learn and grow. If we're just lecturing and giving them information, they're not going to learn and grow. Research shows that when you lecture, 5% of the information sticks. 5% of people learn through lecturing. 5%. But then we get on a webinar, a masterclass, a training, a presentation, whatever it is that you're doing, and there's 20 people in the room, and then you talk, or you lecture, and then you make a pitch, and of the 20 people in the room, one person buys, and you're like, I only close at 5%. That is exactly what's supposed to happen. You lectured, and only 5% of people retain information through lecture, and only 5% of the people on the call bought. There's 1 out of the 20. Why? Because you lectured. Right? Instead of creating opportunities and ways for them to experience the transformation, right? Did we give them sticky statements that they can remember? Did we allow them to practice? Did we give them an action step? Is there a workbook, a guide for them to follow along with? Are they able to, write this step down? Did you give them a do this now and report back to me tomorrow? Did you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is there a way that we are forcing consumption, forcing application so that they're actually learning? Are we creating environments where they can try something and be wrong so that they can learn from it? And these are all teaching moves that expert teachers know how to do to force information retention. And again, when something is being taught effectively, after effective teaching comes transformation that then leads to trust, that then leads to traction, that then leads to treasure. Okay. Let's check in on ChatGPT. So it looks right here like it's on that next question. Finally, it looks like there was an error of source. I just saw the information pop up on the screen and there was an error. All right. So here's a good thing. It put the third step there. Question number 2, that's there. So we know it knows how to do that. It looks like it found an error. Not sure what the error was, or that it ran into an error. I wasn't able to read that. But the good thing is it knows how to add a step. So I'm pretty sure it can continue adding more steps. All right, there we go. So I think it's okay. I think it's gonna roll through it. Even when it makes mistakes, again, it's just gonna keep rebounding until it gets it right. Okay. So while it's doing that, let's talk about the next type of teaching archetype. The next type of teaching archetype. What's going on? I see my comment section. What's going on, man? So good to see you. Glad that you decided to tune in live. Shout out to you catching me play around with Chat GPT and all the things. All right. So that being said, while ChatGPT is working, let us look at the next teaching archetype, which is called the performer. Now, the performer is somebody who is really built on energy, on entertainment, on storytelling, on information being taught in such a way that it is engaging, it's hooking people's attention, is keeping them interested and engaged. Like that is somebody who's a performer. They're going to tell stories. They're going to be funny. They're going to get the cloud moving. We're clapping. We're standing up. We repeat after me. Like those are performers. The good thing with a performance style teaching is that engagement is not your issue. People are locked in. People are always coming up after you and they're saying, that was so fun. Like you really see me. Like that was so amazing. Like I love this great experience. When can you come back? Like they're super, you know what I'm saying? The attendees like that was so great. But those are the times where people come up to you afterwards and they want to take a picture with you. All right. They ask for your autograph, all those great things. Just can you sign the copy of the book? But they may not necessarily join your programs. They're not asking like, how can I be inside of your community? Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I remember one time I was speaking on stage, 6,000 people. And it was one of the times where I had a great opportunity. I was speaking to one of my mentors ahead of time, and he was just like, man, with 6,000 people in the room, even if you just close 1%, that's 60 people. That's 60 people you can get into your community. That's 60 people you can get to Boogie to speak. That's 60 people. Like that is a good number. I'm like, absolutely. I went on stage and I killed it, y'all. Like it was high energy. I was throwing stuff into the crowd. Like we just had an awesome time. Afterwards, the line for people to buy the books was literally they said the lie is the longest line. Not buy the books. The books actually were free, but to get signed copies of the books. They wanted to take pictures with me. They wanted like all these great things. I had an assistant with me that was having people sign up for the community. Community was $99 a month. No, that's not true. The community was $99 for the year. And that was the goal. I said, man, if I can get 60 people and $99 for the year, that'll put me at $6,000, right? Did I do that right? Or 60? No, 60 times 1,000. Yeah, $6,000. Boom. Like I can do that. 60 times 100. Yes, I could do that, right? So then I have my assistant going online, people scanning the QR code, all these great things. And I'm selling books. I'm signing copies. And I can remember it was all said and done. My hand was all tired from signing, I think, copies. I signed about 200 book copies. And we were there, had to go through dinner. I finished speaking at like 8. We didn't get out of there until after 9:15. And I can remember afterwards taking out my phone and looking at Stripe, ready to see the 6,000. There was one, bro. There was one person who purchased. There was one. Now, in hindsight, There was another reason that I don't need to unpack right now, but there was another reason why that was only one person purchased, and maybe I'll do a whole video on that. Jot that idea down. Is AI listening to me? Do I have AI somewhere listening to me? Let me remember that idea. Hold on, let me jot this down, y'all. I know it was a crazy cliffhanger. I'd have a note of video ideas. So I'll say 6,000 in the room. Only one bought. And I'll really unpack that whole process. But the reason why I'm bringing it up right now, and the reason why only one person bought, is because, let me start that over. And the reason why only one person out of the 6,000 people that were in the room, the reason why only one person bought is because there was more inspiration than information. Nobody wanted to work with me for a year to just hear me tell funny stories, to just feel my energy virtually across the screen. What can I help you to be able to do? What transformation am I promising? I wasn't promising a transformation. I got them laughing. I got them high energy. I was throwing out gifts, like just positive vibes, all the great things. But when people were coming up to me afterwards, they're like, that was great. That was amazing. That was the best keynote I've heard. That was so fun. Oh my gosh. I took so many pictures like that. Like they were saying all those things. Nobody was asking me questions about the clients that I coach or the way that I can help. Nobody was asking questions on how they can bring me out to their organization to speak or how they can work with me themselves to speak. Nobody was. And I know that that was a huge reason as to why people weren't signing up to want to buy. It's because I was performing, but I wasn't effectively teaching. I'm a natural performer, y'all. That's what I do. I'm a natural performer. So as a natural performer, one of the things that I need to be able to do is be sure that I pull from that producer and implement frameworks, implement structure, implement organization, implement ways that I can get the intellectual property out of my head and into ways that it can actually apply. They can apply it in their lives, whether it's workbooks, curriculum, things like that. Because what ends up happening is that it's more inspiration than information, and they just feel really good, but they can't do anything with that information. So now there are times where I find myself not in front of 6,000 people. Sometimes I might be in front of 6 people, but in front of those 6 people, I'm having conversations about what I help people do. And people are like, I need that. This literally happened. No exaggeration. This literally happened last week. I was speaking not to 6 people. I was speaking to one person. One person came up to me and she was just kind of talking about, like, I see you are a speaker. Like, what do you speak about? And then I was telling her about the fact that I help people get the information that is in their head out of their heads and out into frameworks that they can teach so that other people can be transformed. And she was like, oh my gosh, that is exactly what I need help with. She's like, I'm afraid to get in front of the camera. I know I have a heart to serve. So what she wants to do is she wants to help churches strategically plan for growth. And she was like, I'm trying to really help these churches grow and strategically plan. I know I have the information. I know that I can help them, but I'm afraid to get in front of the camera. So many times, like, I'll write out the script, but then when it comes to take the camera, I'll erase it all and be like, oh, nobody wants to hear from me. And I just don't have the confidence that I need to get the information that's in my head out into the world to go help plant and grow churches. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, if you have the information, I can help you package it in such a way that other people get it. I can help you master the art and science of how to teach it so other people could be transformed. And we have a meeting tomorrow. We have a meeting tomorrow to talk about working together. So that was one person that I just clearly articulated how I can help, or clearly articulated what I do, or, you know what I'm saying? I clearly articulated that I have the solution to your problem, versus I was on stage in front of 6,000 people and nobody got it. They just felt really good. So one of the plights of or the downfalls, the pitfalls, if you would, of a performer is that sometimes it's more inspiration than information. We've got to be very tuned in and very locked in when it's time to talk about frameworks and things that are actually going to make them remember. After we leave the stage, after the energy fades, we want them to walk away and say, all right, cool, that was good. Now, here's the next step I need to take as a result of hearing that. Making sense? Let's check in on ChatGPT. I don't normally call it that, so don't judge me. All right. Waiting for the next step. It looks like it's on Is that title 6? They're on step 6. Listen, y'all, this thing is moving. So here's what I'm nervous about. I think it's going to take a long time, and I don't know how long ChatGPT will work in agent mode. Right, last time it worked for 7 minutes. You can see that right there, right? But I don't know how long it'll stay in agent mode and work. But actually, I think it's going a little bit quicker now that it's learned because it's a repeatable process. And that's the kind of thing I want you to take away. Again, my goal is not for you to look at this and say, okay, cool, we can use Chat GPT agent mode to create a video ask, right? What I want you to do is I want you to understand the principle, not just focusing on the strategy. My strategy right now is using it to create a video ask. The principle is it can take a task that is repeatable and that is web enabled and do it for you. Okay, it's repeatable. All I need you to do is copy this text and put it there. It can, next time I'll see if it can build a landing page or something like that, right? But if I have the copy for it and it has text boxes and things like that, can you take the copy from here and put it into the text box? That's what it's doing right now for video ask. And then again, the goal is for it to do it more efficiently. Because although right now, technically, I'm kind of watching it do it. If I was not sitting here recording it live, I wouldn't be sitting here watching it do it. I'll be doing something else that is more income producing. What it does is it frees me up to work on income producing activities while it works on the tasks that are easily repeatable, and it can do it just more efficiently. Okay. Let's talk about the next type of archetype. The next archetype is known as the peacemaker. And the peacemaker is cute and beautiful and all of the things. The peacemaker makes people feel really good. The peacemaker is there for support. The peacemaker is there for care. The peacemaker's got your back. Like after the peacemaker finishes their workshop, their presentation, their training, you'll hear people say things like, "You see me, like you get me, you understand me. I've never felt so supported." A lot of times we'll see peacemakers, as community leaders. You put a community together and you just want people to be happy together, peer support, accountability groups. Like that is, sorry, not accountability groups. That is something that we see a lot of peacemakers do. Like we just want people to be happy. The issue with peacemakers sometimes is that peacemakers don't bring enough of the fire. Peacemakers don't bring enough accountability. Peacemakers sometimes don't bring enough of the challenge that is necessary for people to grow. Now, everything can't always be chocolate and marshmallows, but there needs to be some sort of challenge. Think about it. And let me, I want to speak to my peacemakers real quickly. Let me frame this in such a way that you'll get it. You are a caring person. You love people. And that's a beautiful thing. Like you have such a big heart and you just want them to be successful and you want them to be good. That's why you're in business, because you want them to be successful. But the thing is, you think about the path that you had to take to get where you are. Was it all easy for you? Were there not times in which you had to struggle? Weren't there times where you had to work really hard at something, that you had to fail, that you had to be challenged, that you had to be pushed, that you had to stretch outside of your comfort zone, right? And what happens a lot of times with peacemakers is we don't want that tension. We don't want them to struggle. We don't want them to feel pressured. So we lay off the gas a little bit. And what happens when we lay off the gas is that they don't actually implement the thing that we're teaching them. And without implementation, there's no transformation. So if they're not actually implementing it, what's going to happen is when somebody asks them, "Hey, what's it like to be in Mary's program?" They're like, "Oh, Mary's so sweet, but I don't really be learning anything in there." "Oh, Jamal's class is dope, but I don't know. I haven't really watched any of the courses." Yeah. And you're thinking, well, that's on them, right? No, that is part of effective teaching, to force the implementation. You can't just present the information, but you've also got to make sure that they try and apply it. And for somebody like a producer is going to make sure that you do it. A producer is going to say, "Here are your action steps. Here's what you do next." A peacemaker is going to say, "If you want to." So if it were me, here's how I would do it. If you don't have to, if you want to, you'll do, because you were trying to avoid that discomfort. But growth is on the other side of discomfort. You've got to let them experience that thing. So for peacemakers, one of the things that you have to do is increase the accountability, create assignments with deadlines. You can even use automations to check in on your people. Say, hey, I noticed that you started watching the course, but you didn't finish it. The only way that you're going to grow is if you actually apply this information. Right? You can create accountability groups so that it doesn't even have to be you. You can put them in accountability pods. And that's one of the things that I do. And to say, hey, check on your 3 people this week and make sure that they are implementing. You can have a challenge. You can say, hey, we're all going starting tomorrow. We're all showing up and we're going to challenge ourselves to post on social media 3 times a week. Like whatever it is, like give them the clear action steps, the deadlines, the outcomes, because we need to force implementation in order for there to be a transformation. And again, after transformation comes trust. After trust comes traction. After traction comes treasure. All right. So peacemakers, don't be afraid to apply a little bit of pressure and give them a little bit of fire. Like they need to do that. And while I'm thinking about this, I know that I'm giving a move that is best suited for each of these different archetypes. Like the accountability is good for peacemakers. But just because peacemakers are not naturally going to be the ones that apply a little foot to the fire doesn't mean that peacemakers are the only ones that should. That is a good strategy for anybody. Even if you're a producer that just is saying go, 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 go. Here's a framework, here's a structure, here's the action step, get it done. It's also cool for you to have accountability groups. Or it's also cool for you to have challenges where your members check in and they show you their results and you track their progress and things like that, right? So although I'm aligning it with a specific archetype, it's okay if it's also broken down. Sorry, it's okay if it's also used by other archetypes. Okay, so that's all I need to say about that. That's all I'm gonna say about that, Forrest Gump, right? All right, let's check this out. Oh, it's going to work here. It's doing something. Oh, it's moving some things. Oh, what? This is crazy. Okay, so let me show you what just happened. I'm gonna go to my own video ask. Oh, this is where ChatGPT is. I don't want to mess anything up though. Yeah, that's ChatGPT. All right, let me go to a different one. This is crazy. I'm about to blow your mind. So I'm going to a different one that I have, and this was the navigation for the Complete 180 conference, which I hosted a couple times this year. Now you see we had thousands of people sign up over the year. So check this out. When it's all said and done, it can look something like this. All right. I had them. It started here, then sorry. It started here, and then after it started here, then this was the first question, and then it would navigate them to one of these. Depending on how they responded, it would take them to the actual place where the course was happening, where the conference was happening, or it would take them to a different website. Like this is the mapping, and it can get a little bit confusing. If I'm being honest, I like how it looks when it's like this. It makes me feel like a master like coder or something like that. Like it makes me feel like I know what I'm doing and know what I'm talking about, right? But ChatGPT said this was getting confusing, so it switched it to linear view. And in linear view, then it just puts the video side by side by side by side. Oh gosh, I just messed that up. Oh, I can scroll on the bottom. Side by side by side by side. It makes it easier to follow along. So, okay. Well, I can't scroll for some reason. But ChatGPT put it into this mode, which means it found that it was in map view and it went and clicked on linear view. It was like, okay, this is going to be easier for me to understand. Isn't that crazy? This is what I talk about when I'm talking about machine learning. How it's just like, this is going to make my life easier. So I'm going to go with it like that. So that's why it looks different now. Where's ChatGPT? And after all that, it went back to map mode. But earlier you saw it, right? It was in linear mode, and now I went back to the map archetype. All right, so it's going. I don't think I'm going to be on live when it is going, because it's still on step 6. See, that is one thing that I say. So one time I tried this before, and not with video ask, but one time I tried this before, and I wanted it to create a flyer for me in Canva, and I gave it an example flyer, and I gave it the copy for the new flyer, and I asked it to create, and then it started off really good, and then it just like got lost in the sauce, and then it just stopped. I think it worked for like 30 minutes, and then it just stopped. And I looked at it, and I was like, "Bro, what did you even do?" you know. And I wonder if something similar is happening. Maybe I've got to chunk the session down smaller, because right now it's on step 6. But I think before we started talking about the peacemaker archetype, it was on step 6, and I think it's getting lost in the sauce again. I think it's doing something crazy. Just finish doing what you was doing, bro. You're doing a good job. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know. But the next archetype that I want to talk about as we land the plane is the professor archetype. And this archetype gets on my nerves because it is such a popular archetype. There are so many people who use the professor style archetype, and you don't like being lectured to, but you want to lecture to everybody else. One of the things I can't stand is like when people don't like a certain thing and then they become imitations of that thing. Like, you can't stand when somebody just stands up and talks to you, but then when you have to go present information, all you do is stand up and talk. The professor is somebody who has all the knowledge, all the information, and they get really, really deep. And that's one of the pieces of feedback that you get. You get, "Oh, that was so deep." Oh, that was so awesome. Like, "Oh, not awesome, sorry. Oh, that was so deep." Oh, that I can tell you did a lot of research. Oh man, like that was powerful. Like they'll say things like that. But when they walk away from the experience, they don't know what step to take next because they're overwhelmed with information. You gave me all the information, the research, the backing, the like, you told me everything I could possibly know about this topic, but you didn't make it relevant to me and to what I need to do in order to experience the transformation. So, oh, watch this. What happens with this one is something, it's something critical, because there's nothing wrong with having information. There's nothing wrong with knowing stuff. There's nothing wrong with building that credibility, right? Of saying, no, I know my stuff. I researched this. This is not just something that I talk about. It's something that I know, something that I'm aware of. Like even myself, all the things, I hope that you're seeing that this is not just something I'm making up off the top of my head. I've committed my life to mastering the art and science of teaching. Some people, they'll say, I learned from the School of Hard Knocks. No, I learned from Johns Hopkins University and the University of North Carolina. Like I have multiple master's degrees in the art and science of teaching. And I get this. I understand pedagogy. I understand, again, retention strategies. Like I understand adult learning. I get this, which is why I'm able to help those that need to master the art and science of teaching, which is why it's so easy for me to see when somebody's unconsciously incompetent, because I am consciously competent. Like I get it. But what I'm saying is there's so many people who like have the information and show off the information, if you would, to gain that credibility and the research and the backing and the data and the statistics and all those things. But what's happening, and when you're sharing the information with me, is that you're overwhelming me with information. And what happens? I love this part. What happens is I'm watching you teach, and I see that you know your stuff. I see that you've got your knowledge. I understand that you are credible. You've done your work. Like I get all of the things, and I look at you and I believe you. I believe you know what you're talking about. I don't believe that you're making things up. Like I believe you know what you're talking about. I believe that everything you're saying is true. I believe you're living the life you say you lived. I believe you've experienced the transformation that you're trying to help me experience. And when I look at you, I say to myself, that right there is how I want to be. That's my target. But that's not my teacher. That's my target. That's what I want to end up as. That's what I want to look like. That's the life that I want to live. That's the transformation I want to experience. That's my target. But I can't understand the information that you are selling to me. So I'm not going to pay you for the transformation. I'm going to go find somebody else to teach me how to be like you. You're my target, but you're not my teacher. Your expertise is what makes you qualified. But the way you teach is how you monetize. I'm saying that for my professors, right? Your expertise makes you qualified. I love that you have all that knowledge, that expertise, the information. I love that. but the way you teach is how you monetize. Just because you have the information doesn't mean that I'm going to pay you to try to give it to me, especially when I sat on your webinar, I sat in your training, I sat in your workshop, I viewed your YouTube videos, like especially when I interacted with you and feel like you're not teaching me, you're overwhelming me. You're my target. I'm going to pay somebody else to be my teacher. Is that making sense? So what the professor has to do is you got to you have to weave in um basically you can use some producer moves where you weave in stories and things like that. But another way that you can do it is really just make it plain. Tell me what it is that I need to know. What is the information I need to know right now? Not all of the information that exists about this topic. What do I need to know right now to satisfy the need that I have so that I can take the next step? People say, teach it to me like I'm 5. How would you teach a 5-year-old about this topic? And that's not saying, that's not insulting to the audience. I'm not saying water it down. I'm not saying, insult their intelligence. I'm not saying be beneath them. What I'm saying is break it down in palatable chunks. Chunk it in such a way that you're teaching me on this particular thing. I don't know why I keep doing this with my hands, but you're not teaching me everything. You're teaching me this thing. And after I master and understand this thing and I prove it to you, I prove to you that I mastered it through some sort of evaluation or assessment or check for understanding, whatever it is. Like, make sure that I can say it. If what you sell is expertise, you can't scale if you can't teach. Like, I repeat that because I need you to, it's a sticky statement that I need you to have lodged into your mind. Professors need to incorporate things that is chunking the information, mastering just that bit of information. What is the one action, the one activity, the one idea that you want me to master? And after I prove to you that I got that, now you can present to me with some more information. Professors find themselves lecturing and trying to give you as much information, and then I don't know what to do with that. What ends up happening when there's too much information is literally the prefrontal cortex overloads. And when the prefrontal cortex overloads, it shuts down the ability to process information or make decisions. To process information or to make decisions. I'm giving you so much information that you can't even make a decision at the end of the webinar whether or not you want to buy. You said that was deep. That was deep. That was deep. That was a lot of information. And I would say, yeah. So to work with me is going to be $197. Like, yeah. Let me think about it. But that was really good. And now you're confused as the instructor, the facilitator, the teacher, because you're like, everybody keeps telling me it's really good. They keep telling me it's really deep. They keep telling me that it's making sense. Like, how many of us have been in those situations? They keep telling me it's good. They keep telling me it's making sense, but for some reason they won't buy. This is what I'm talking about. These are the people who I'm trying to help. People just like you, expertpreneurs who are selling information, that have information and want to do good in the world, but for some reason people just won't buy and you don't know why. Either they won't pay or they won't stay. And you're trying to figure out, what is the gap? Well, the gap is that you're not teaching in a way that sticks and they're not experiencing transformation. But that's what I'm here for. I help people close that gap so they can teach in a way that actually sticks so that their clients can implement, so they can experience that transformation. When they experience the transformation, that leads to trust. Trust leads to traction. Traction leads to treasure. All right. That being said, let's pop back over to ChatGPT before I sign out for the day. Shout out to you. Been rocking with me for an hour and 47 minutes. Which is probably nobody, but it's okay. The purpose of this is not necessarily to get as many people as possible on the call. The purpose of this is to get the ideas into, if I can be honest with you, the reason why I go live for so long is because I want to take this information and to feed it back into my AI so that it has just a full arsenal of my frameworks and my information, my phrases, the things that I say, the way that I show up, right? The more information I can give it, the quicker it gets to understand who I am. So even if you're not watching today, as I'm recording this on September the 12th, 2015, something that I said today is going to show up in your future. All right, so check this out. Popping back over to ChatGPT, boom, it looks like agent mode is knocking it out. And it's moving, y'all. It is moving. It's doing a really good job. So it finished up step 6. Looks like it finished up step 7 perhaps, and Yeah, I think it's ready to roll. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm not gonna be on to the end because it looks like it's gonna take it some more time. But again, I want you to understand the principle. Watch what we just did. We started with an idea, put it into ChatGPT agent mode, asked if you can go ahead and build it out, and it's building it right before our very eyes. And it's allowing me to work on income producing activities while it takes some of the menial tasks, and that's improving my business efficiency. All right. So, Video Ask again, not sponsoring this video, but they have done they do a really good job of getting people uh, interactively engaged through, and I like to use them best for quizzes. So if that's interesting to you, give it a shot. And maybe someday, if they are sponsoring me, I'll give you an affiliate link or something of that nature. But as of right now, just go check it out, videoask.com, and you'll get there. I appreciate you rocking with me today. And I'm actually about to go to an Asian festival. An Asian festival, you say? Asian festival. Wife and I are gonna go over there, bring the kids, chill out for the rest of the day, head into the weekend. I appreciate you being here, man. I will be live next week again, and be sure to leave your comments and all those things. Be sure to show up. Oh man, let me reach out, man. I see somebody on Instagram. Sorry, on LinkedIn reaching out. All right, appreciate you. You're doing great, and I should have had the comments open. Next time I'll get it. All right. Anyway, we're good. I don't know how to sign off. Yeah, I do. You've got this, and I've got you. I see you on the